What's good, y'all? It's your favorite Empress. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today's video is on the topic of locks, and it's going to be in my series called Pum Pum Talks, where we're all about womanhood. In my series, Pum Pum Talks, we cover topics in the format of chick chats, and these topics include hygiene, self-care, and overall creativity for the elevation of women. Today's video is sort of a guide for longevity and versatility for locks. I've noticed that a lot of us with locks want to achieve longevity so that we can have our locks as long as possible if we don't plan to cut them off or go loose hair in the near future. Versatility comes in for the girls like me who love to switch it up, try new styles over our locks like braids and wigs like I have on right now. So if that's what you're looking for, you're on the right video. When it comes to versatility over my locks, I've mostly been inspired by the Bailey sisters. That's Chloe and Halle Bailey. They have mastered versatility when it comes to locks. Sometimes you're questioning, do they still have locks? Do they have locks even? Did they ever have locks? Because of how well their hairstylist is able to tuck their locks or make it look like that's really their hair. So I wanted to cover some of the techniques that I've noticed that they've been using to achieve this seamless versatility, because I've been able to achieve the same in my own journey of having locks. So let's get into it. So for those who are new here, I actually have locks underneath this wig. I've had locks for 5.5 going 6 years now. My locks are actually Braidlocs, which are sometimes confused as Sisterlocs, but they are Braidlocs. I have another video explaining the background of my locks, the difference between Braidlocs, how different types of locks are started. If that's the information that you're looking for, be sure to go and check that video out. But in this video, we're talking all about longevity and versatility of our hair while having locks. So that's the background on my lock journey. It's been going very well. I love my locks. I love the natural look, but there are times as a young woman where I want to switch it up and try braids and wigs, which I have been doing for the past 1.5 years. I've been trying more styles because I've noticed, like, I should switch it up. It's fun to switch it up. So we're going to be starting off by talking about longevity. And when it comes to longevity, it's all about nurturing your locks so that they can last you as long as you want them to. So I started my locks when I was 20. I've been able to maintain them and nurture them enough for them to not break off or wither, cause me to lose edges or any of the above, which are issues that many women or individuals with locks struggle with in their lock journey. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about the routine for longevity. We are going to get into versatility, but it's super important to understand longevity before we could be versatile with our locks. There are individuals who want to maintain their locks, keep them nourished, nurtured, and healthy for as long as they possibly can. I'm somebody who does not plan to cut my locks anytime soon. I'm only 25, and who knows, maybe when I'm 35, I'll be like, you know what? I'm done with the locks journey. I'm gonna try my loose hair now. Maybe that's where I'll be in 10 years. But right now, I want to keep my locks. So the longevity of it is going to be dependent on the routines that I have. For my shampoo and cleanser that I use in my locks, I have the Taraji P. Henson TPH line. That one is my favorite. I'm actually going to show you it one moment. Alright, so in my wash routine of my locks, I have the Taraji P. Henson Master Cleanse. This is a targeted scalp wash. It's really good. It cleans out your scalp. It makes it feel like peppermint. I really like that. And I've been using this specific one for 2 years now because I started to have a lot of itching in my scalp. And it was around the same time that Taraji launched her hair wash line, so I decided to try it out. And I have not looked back since. So I really love this one. So usually when I'm washing my locks, I start with the Taraji P. Henson Scalp Cleanse, and then I go in with the Carol's Daughter. As you can see, this is almost done. I've been using this one for 4 years now. This is the Carol's Daughter Goddess Strength Fortifying Shampoo. and this one is really good. It has no sulfate or parabens, alcohols, dyes, any of those things. It's just natural. It smells really good at the end of your wash. You have your locks smelling good for up to 5 days. I really like that about this product. Pairing these together helps me to keep my locks clean. I usually wash my locks every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how busy I am and how much I've worked out in those few weeks. Because whenever I go to the gym, I actually sweat in my scalp. After cleansing and washing my locks, I like to seal in that moisture and hydration that I had from washing my locks by using castor oil. The pure castor oil from Jamaica, that's the one I usually use, and that's the only oil I use in my hair. I really like it. It actually helps to thicken my locks, keep them thick so that they're not thinning, which is an issue a lot of us face with locks in our lock journey. So the importance of using oils after washing your hair is that the oil is actually going to seal in that hydration and moisture. And then to maintain hydration daily is a serious thing, especially in the Colorado climate that I'm living in. It's very dry here. That's the type of climate we have, especially in the winter. When you go outside, it just sucks all the hydration out of your skin. So I have a daily routine where I actually hydrate my locks with water in a spray bottle, and I would sometimes have rose water in it because rose water has a subtle sweet smell to it and it's really feminine. Sometimes when I want to do a little razzle dazzle, instead of just using natural water to spritz my hair every morning, I would go ahead and spritz it with rose water. So either or of the two is really good to hydrate your locks daily. And that's how I maintain longevity with my locks. My locks are pretty long. I've only had about 2 locks pop off and I braided them back and they've been growing. And that's been in the span of 5.5 years. I haven't had a lot of thinning. I haven't had any of that. I made sure that I take good care of my locks. They're shiny, they're naturally black, and I love it that way. And this is how I do it with that routine. And you may be thinking, wow, it's so simple to maintain the longevity of my locks, and it really is simple. All you have to do is not manipulate it too much. Do not try to put it in tight styles too much. Try to make sure that you're giving your hair time to breathe. That's also how you allow your locks to grow more and how you allow your edges to not have traction alopecia and issues like that. Okay? I'd also advise to sometimes, if you don't already, see a professional loctician so that they can check on the health of your hair, give you advice, give you more tips, things like that, so you can maintain and keep up on this longevity. I usually do my locks myself. I only see locticians in Jamaica because, hello, I'm Jamaican. Jamaican people are really good with the locks. They're very good with hairstyles, and that's who I trust the most with my locks. So yeah, but definitely get expert advice when it comes to maintaining longevity, understanding the products you're using, do your research, and stay informed just like you're doing with this video here. Okay, so now we're going to go into the segment of versatility. So as women, we do love to be versatile, we really do. The secrets for seamless versatility, where it actually looks good, it doesn't look too lumpy, bumpy, or obvious that you have something beneath it, is gonna be all about techniques and tools that you're using to achieve these styles. So I'm gonna separate this into 2 parts, as well as telling you the tools for each of these styles of versatility. And these 2 parts are gonna be wigs and braids. And we're gonna start with wigs since I'm wearing a wig today over my locks. The first and most important thing for a technique when doing a wig over your locks is going to be your braid down, your cornrows that you're doing underneath. Okay, you know, with loose hair, they're able to just manipulate that hair and braid it down, sew it up and everything, but you are being a lot more careful, specifically because you know you have locks underneath, right? So because you have locks underneath, the way that you're doing your braid down is going to be a bit different. And something that I noticed when my stepmom recently braided my locks down to do this specific wig was that instead of cornrowing or braiding down the same way that we would, which would have made my hair a bit bulky and made the wig look like puffy, instead of doing the regular way of braiding down hair, she did an inside cornrow. And I'm gonna insert something so y'all can understand the difference between an inside cornrow and an outside cornrow.
So you just swing with your index finger to hold the hair, pull through, hold it with this finger, swing with your index finger with the next side, and that's what you're going to do, is just carry them in and over.
So this is the inside cornrow.
And you don't want to take up too much hair at once.
And this is the outside cornrow.
And you go that way to do the regular, and you naturally pick the hair proportional to all of those.
The type of cornrow we want to do when putting wigs over our locks is going to be the inside cornrow. It will make our locks more flat so that we can put the wig cap and the wig over it without having too much lump or a bump. Okay? And that's the most important technique when starting out to put a wig over your locks. So after the braid down, we're putting water and oil to seal in the moisture in our locks. It's super important to have an upkeep of our locks health beneath the style we're putting on top of it when being versatile. It's just as important. So the technique is going to be the braid down, and then the tools are going to be how you're maintaining your locks underneath that wig. So you're going to be oiling it. You're spraying it with water or rose water daily. You're oiling it every other week if you're having that braid down that long, right? That's how you make sure that when you do take the wig off, that your locks are not thinning, they're not breaking off, or any of that, because you were still paying attention and hydrating it while you have the wig over it. I prefer glueless wigs over wigs that you're gluing down, but regardless, you would try to make sure that you're at least taking that wig off to continue these practices. So now that you've taken care of the base, which is you put the wig cap on. This is where you're gonna do the regular thing of making the wig look seamless and cute like a professional did it. Now I have a glueless wig right now. This wig is from Eunice, and tools that I have to maintain the look of my wig so that it's curly or straight, taking care of flyaways, making the top look as flat as possible, is gonna be number one, my styling wax. So this styling wax is what helped me to achieve the flatness alongside the hot comb. So I put the styling wax after parting the wig with a straight line. I use the hot comb so that it looks good, because previously it was just poofed up like that. But this way it looks good. No one even thinks like, oh, you have locks underneath that. No, they're not gonna think that. Another important thing for the wig that you're gonna be purchasing is that the wig has clips on it or a strap so that it stays on your hair, because you don't want your wig slipping, especially if it's glueless. Another important tool for the versatility of your wig and the styling of it is going to be your lace melt spray. This is what helps me to make the front of the lace of the wig not look as obvious, or it just makes it look more seamless and put together. I work in corporate America and I do a lot of face-to-face and talking to people. I don't want someone staring at my at my lace because it's sticking up while I'm having a conversation about a deadline. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying in that conversation, okay? So this is another tool. Another tool, of course, is going to be mousse or hairspray, which is going to help to take care of flyaways and prevent you from looking like you just got static shock. It's also helpful when you're doing curls with your curling wand, curling iron, whatever type of iron you use in your hair. So these are the tools I have and recommend you use to help in the versatility of your hair whenever you're putting wigs over your locks. Okay, this is going really well. I'm happy that I'm even able to share this video, because I used to have these types of questions. So be sure, even if you're watching this video and you're a little confused about any technique or anything I've shared, ask below and I'll definitely respond, because I've been responding to these types of videos for the past 2 years now, and this is just an updated guide, okay? Now we're talking about braids over your locks or any type of extension that you're going to into your hair. So for the techniques when it involves braiding our locks, it's going to be all about the tucking method. Whoever is braiding your hair has to know how to tuck your locks so that it's not sticking out or looks like not professionally done. The person that's doing your braids over your locks should know the tucking method. That technique is super important for you to have a seamless look with your braids. If you're the one that's going to be braiding your own locks and putting extension over your locks, it's important that you find a tutorial where they show you how to tuck your locks so that you can hide your locks inside of the braiding hair so it's not poking out or showing or looking weird. You understand what I'm saying? Another important technique to having seamless braids over your locks is going to be the color of the braid and how it complements your natural hair or whatever color your locks are at that time. Some people like to dye their locks. So say your locks are dyed red number 2. You're gonna get the braiding hair in red number 2 so that it looks seamless. Whereas if you were to get black braiding hair and your locks were dyed red, then it would look, I don't know, kind of crazy. Maybe that's what you want, but pay attention to how the colors complement each other and how it's going to impact the finished look. And I should have said this when I was mentioning the cornrows of the wig, but it's important not to braid or cornrow or anything too tight, because when you're doing this, remember, your locks are permanent protective styles. So if you're planning to take the braids out and then wear your locks normal again, it's important to pay attention to number 1, how you're braiding it or twisting it and how tight you're doing it. Because if you're braiding or twisting it too tight, it can stifle your locks, which is going to lead to your locks thinning at certain areas and then breaking off. And I know this from experience. I had braids, I think 2 years ago, and the person who braided it too tight at the back. And one of my locks ended up thinning out and breaking off like a few months later because it was stifled. Okay? Be sure not to braid or twist, braiding and twisting hair too tight over your locks. Be mindful of that. And just like with wigs, when you're maintaining your locks underneath braids, you're going to be oiling your scalp weekly and hydrating your hair with a spritz of water. Here's my spritz bottle with water. I just spray this under. I take the wig off and spray it, but if you have braids, you're just spraying the roots, and you're doing this daily because you're maintaining your locks underneath. And if you believe this is gonna make your braids last not as long, well, ask yourself this: do you want to have longevity with your locks or not? Do you want to have healthy, flourishing locks or not? That's what I thought. Take care of your locks. Don't neglect them, regardless of the style you're putting over it. For the purpose of versatility, be so for real right now, okay? We talked about the braiding technique. We talked about the colors and how it makes a difference. We talked about the maintenance of your locks. Beneath that, what am I missing? The takedown of your braids whenever you have locks, just like you would with loose hair. Just make sure you're not cutting it too short and accidentally cutting your locks. Know your locks enough to know the length of your locks so that when you're taking it down, you're being careful. Be patient and careful when you're doing the takedown. If you have to ask your sister, your friend, or your cousin to help you take it down, try that, because it will help you just be more patient and not cut your hair. That was it for this video. I just wanted to show y'all how to slay, maintain longevity of your locks through ensuring that it is nourished so that it can flourish, and also touching on versatility, because I know we all love to slay, try new things, get into new personalities, new year, new me, you know. So be sure to give this a thumbs up if you found this video in any way helpful, informative, entertaining, etc., etc. And I will see y'all in another video. Bye.